Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.
Reese's rescue mission for Trinity turned into a nightmare, the Warlocks trapping them with illusions of their deepest fears. They escaped, but Trinity remains lost. How did the Warlocks know their fears? What did the Guardian's warning, "Beware the mirrored path," mean? They now head to an ancient Warlock enclave, hoping for answers. What new traps await them there? Will they find Trinity, or be consumed by their own anxieties? The journey to the Eastern Cliffs was grueling. They were walking straight into another Warlock-infested territory, and this time, Reese was ready, his senses heightened, his resolve steel-clad. Elias was the first to sense the subtle shift in the magical weave. He raised a hand, signaling them to stop, his eyes scanning the treacherous terrain. "We're here," he announced, his voice low and grave. Juniper rolled her shoulders, loosening the tension in her muscles. "So what are we looking for?" she asked, her voice sharp and focused. Elias glanced at Reese, his expression grim. "Anything that tells us where they took her." Reese exhaled sharply, the breath catching in his throat. "Then let's get to work," he said, his voice laced with determination. He couldn't afford to hesitate. Trinity's life depended on them. They split into pairs. Vincent and Noah, the pragmatists, tasked with scanning the outer perimeter, searching for any sign of recent activity. Juniper, Elias, and Reese moved into the heart of the ruins, where the echoes of the past were strongest. Inside, the air was thick with memories, the weight of centuries pressing down on them. The walls bore old runes, flickering with residual magic, like embers in a dying fire. Elias ran his fingers along the cold stone, whispering an incantation, his voice a low, rhythmic chant. A shimmer of energy pulsed beneath his touch, revealing faint echoes of the past, fragmented images of rituals and dark ceremonies. A voice drifted through the chamber, a whisper, distorted and eerie, like a phantom caught in a breeze. "She was never meant to be found," it hissed, the words echoing through the desolate space. Reese's breath hitched, his heart pounding in his chest. "That's Warlock magic, a memory trap," he said, his voice tight. Elias nodded grimly, his eyes dark. "And it means we're close." They wanted to leave a warning. Vincent and Noah, meanwhile, had found the first real clue. A trail of old blood leading away from the ruins, dried and nearly erased by time, a faint stain against the gray stone. But it wasn't human blood. The scent was alien, metallic, and charged with magic. Noah knelt, touching the ground, his fingers tracing the faint trail. "This isn't an animal kill. This was deliberate," he said, his voice grave. Vincent frowned, his brow furrowed in concentration. "A sacrifice?" Noah's jaw tightened, his eyes narrowed. "Or a marking, a way to track someone through magic, a beacon." Vincent's stomach twisted, a cold dread settling within him. "You mean they're tracking her?" Noah exhaled sharply, his expression grim. "Or she's the one being used to track something else, something far worse." Elias froze suddenly, his body rigid as his mind touched the remnants of the magic embedded in the ruins, delving deeper into the psychic imprints. He saw glimpses of twisted forms, of dark rituals and unfathomable power. Then his eyes snapped open, horror flashing across his face, his skin pale. "We need to leave, now," he said, his voice urgent. Reese grabbed his arm, his grip firm. "What did you see?" Elias shook his head, his eyes wide with fear. "Not here. We have to move before they realize we've been watching, before they close the trap." Juniper's expression hardened, her daggers gleaming in the dim light. "Who?" Elias swallowed hard, his throat dry. "The ones who took Trinity aren't just Warlocks. There's something worse, something cursed." The moment the words left his mouth, the ground trembled beneath them, the ancient stones groaning in protest. The air crackled with malevolent energy, and the Warlocks, or whatever they were, found them first. Shadows erupted from the ruins, figures cloaked in darkness moving faster than the eye could track, their forms shifting and blurring like phantoms. Spells crackled through the air, slamming into stone, sending debris flying in all directions. Reese shifted mid-motion, his claws slashing through the nearest attacker, a dark shape that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. But something was wrong. Their magic didn't just attack. It latched on, draining, pulling, leeching away his strength. Vincent shouted as one of them grabbed his arm, its grip like iron. His body jerked violently, his energy draining away before Reese tore the Warlock off him, the creature hissing in frustration. They're siphoning us, Elias yelled, his voice strained. Don't let them touch you. Juniper cursed, driving her daggers into one's chest, the blades sinking deep. But instead of falling, the warlock only grinned, its eyes glowing with malevolent light, its body absorbing the attack like it had never happened, the wounds closing instantly. Rhys's mind raced, adrenaline coursing through his veins. They weren't just fighting warlocks. They were fighting something that couldn't die, something that fed on their magic, their very essence. Who were these dark creatures? Why did they want Trinity? And would anyone get out alive?
Hey, I am Trinity. Want to know what happens next? Then click the link in the description below and download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha.
Rhys's rescue turned deadly at an ancient warlock enclave. They found clues, a warning Trinity was never meant to be found, and a trail of non-human blood. Elias revealed they faced cursed beings, not just warlocks, before a brutal attack. These creatures siphon magic and heal instantly. Who are they? Why Trinity? Can Rhys survive? The battle turned desperate. Every attack only seemed to fuel their enemies. Every wound healed faster than they could land another blow. Elias clenched his fists, chanting under his breath, "Cover me!" Rhys and Juniper fought to keep the warlocks back as Elias traced a sigil in the air. Magic pulsed around them, and suddenly, the world lurched. The ruins blurred, the warlocks howled, then everything went dark. When Rhys opened his eyes, they were somewhere else. A vast canyon stretched before them, the ruins now miles away. Juniper collapsed, panting. What the hell was that? Elias wiped blood from his nose. A last resort. Rhys clenched his jaw. And Trinity? Elias met his gaze, his expression unreadable. They're keeping her somewhere even darker than we thought. As they regained their strength, Elias pulled out a worn parchment, tracing something with his fingers. A symbol, burned into the warlock's skin. Rhys narrowed his eyes. That wasn't ordinary warlock magic. Elias shook his head. No, that was something older. Juniper leaned forward. Then what are we dealing with? Elias hesitated. Bound warlocks. Ones who sold their souls for power. Vincent cursed. Great. As if normal warlocks weren't bad enough. Noah exhaled sharply. So what now? Rhys's jaw tightened. We find where they took her. Elias pointed at the symbol. Then we go deeper into the abyss. Following the warlock's mark, the journey led them further than they had ever gone. Beyond the cursed forests, past the dead rivers, into a land where even the moonlight refused to shine. Juniper shivered. I don't like this. Vincent scanned the darkness. It feels empty. Elias muttered an incantation, and for a brief second something flickered in the distance. A tower, barely visible against the night sky. Rhys's heart pounded. That's where she is. The closer they got, the more reality seemed to warp. Time moved strangely, the ground shifting beneath their feet, the air thick with unseen energy. Vincent frowned. It's like the city. Elias nodded. But worse. As they neared the entrance, a whisper drifted through the air. You shouldn't be here. Rhys growled. Try and stop me. He pushed open the doors, and the darkness swallowed them whole. Inside, the tower was endless. Hallways stretched into infinity. Doors led to nowhere. It wasn't just a prison. It was a labyrinth designed to break minds. Juniper gritted her teeth. This place isn't real. Elias's expression was grim. No, but the pain will be. Rhys's fists clenched. He didn't care about illusions, about tricks. Because somewhere in this maze, Trinity was waiting, and he would burn it all down to find her. The air thrummed with a low, dissonant hum. Shadows danced on the walls, mimicking grotesque figures, whispering taunts that echoed in their minds. Each step felt like a betrayal, the very floor shifting and swaying. Noah, usually stoic, gripped his staff tighter, his knuckles white. This place, it's feeding on our fear. They moved as a unit, backs to each other, eyes darting, searching. The labyrinth was a living thing, twisting and turning, trying to disorient them. Doors appeared and vanished, hallways stretched and contracted, playing with their perception. A cold dread settled in Rhys's stomach. They want us lost, he growled, his voice a low rumble. Elias, his brow furrowed, traced the symbol on the parchment again, his fingers moving with practiced precision. The symbol, it's a guide of sorts. But the path is not linear. It twists, it turns, it mirrors. He looked up, his eyes reflecting the flickering shadows. We have to follow the echo of the mark, not the mark itself. Suddenly, a wave of icy air swept through the corridor, extinguishing their torches. A chorus of whispers filled the darkness, voices overlapping, a cacophony of malice. "Give up," they hissed. "Turn back. You are nothing." Reese felt a surge of rage, a burning defiance. "I won't," he roared, his voice cutting through the darkness. "I won't stop until I find her." He ignited a flare of his own inner fire, pushing back the encroaching shadows. The light revealed a corridor that had not been there moments before, a faint pulsing glow emanating from its depths. "That way," he said, his voice firm. "Trinity is there." Reese's rescue turned into a nightmare. They faced magic siphoning, instantly healing creatures in an ancient warlock enclave. They found Trinity, but a masked figure and bound warlocks, powered by something darker, guarded her. A chaotic surge of light, seemingly from the masked figure's symbol, caused the tower to collapse. They escaped, but questions lingered. What was that light? Did the masked figure and bound warlock survive? And is Trinity truly free, or more deeply bound than before?
Hey, I am Trinity. Want to know what happens next? Then click the link in the description below and download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha.
Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.